Hey, it's Madison Chase, and it's another episode of It's Yes or No. It's your entertainment source or news option. Again, I'm Madison Chase, and all the way in Wiggity Wick, Wisconsin. My girl, Stef Z. Say hey to the people.
What's up? Hey, people. How are you today?
Okay, so I am really excited to talk about another Olympic gold medalist, Simone Biles. She is like, people are comparing her to the Michael Jordan of the Olympics. And the reason why is we all know who Bella and Martha Karolyi are. They have coached some of the world's greatest gymnasts in the world. And here's what they had to say about Simone. Marta said she was the bounciest child she ever saw in her life. So you could imagine how many children she saw who were aspiring gymnasts. And Bella Karolyi had to say the coordination and agility is something that he's never seen in a gymnast before. So let me break down her stats. In 2014, she had to make a powerful choice. She had to either decide to go to public school or be homeschooled. And for someone who's really, really social and really outgoing, her personality is really outgoing, that was a hard choice for her to make, to forego going to public school and being homeschooled. And another side note, she was actually raised by her grandparents, her maternal grandparents. So her mother's parents actually raised her. I don't know exactly what happened with her mom, but it sounds like her mom may have been, I'm not sure if she was just kind of out in the streets. I mean, they didn't really say or go into that story, but the positive side of the story is that she was raised by her parents, her grandparents, and they saw a gift in her. So she hated being homeschooled because she was very social. She didn't get a chance to go to her prom. But to break down some of her stats, October 2013, she won the Belgian all-around champion at 16 years old. She was the first African-American to win. October 2014 in China, she won the all-around gymnast championship as well. Then October 2015 in Scotland, she won the all-around. Not only did she win the all-around, but she was the first gymnast to win back-to-back three-peat 3 times, being the all-around world champion as a gymnast. So fast forward to the U.S. Olympics, the Rio Olympics. United States, her alone, just her awards by herself, she's already won 4 gold and it looks like 1 bronze. So she won a gold in the women's ball, the women's team all around, the women's floor exercise, and the women's individual all around. And then the women's beam, she got 3rd place. So that's Simone Biles, and I think she is just incredible. There's a little kind of sidebar story where when you become like the darling kind of the Olympics, that people want to see who you're dating. I think she's 19 years old, and I think she's dating a young guy from Brazil, maybe. I have no idea, but Zac Efron gave her a kiss on the cheek, and her boyfriend was like, "Step back, she's mine." Get back. So the question I have for you, Steph, you know how incredible Michael Jordan is. This girl is only 19 and she's already been compared to Michael Jordan. Do you think that that is a fair comparison, or do you think that is setting her up to fail?
Honestly, no, I don't think it's a fair comparison, and this is why. Because Michael Jordan has been a successful athlete for almost as long as she's been alive. Is she doing amazing things? Yes. Is she an empire? Is she a brand like Michael Jordan is a brand? No, and I'm not trying to take anything away from her. She's amazing. Like you said, her story, and a little bit more about her adoption story. Her mother gave up her daughter and 3 other children at the depth of her struggle with alcohol and drug addiction. So her mom made a smart choice that she couldn't take care of these kids, gave them up. So yes, she's had a very, a life that was filled with adversity. And yes, she's rising above and doing all these amazing things. And she is amazing and great. But I don't understand why we need to compare people to other athletes rather than just be like, she's Simone Biles and she's awesome, rather than compare her to Michael Jordan, who was an athlete. I mean, look at his career. I mean, that, like, I almost sometimes cringe when they compare Kobe Bryant to Michael Jordan. Now you've got this girl who, how old is she again? Do we know how old she is? 19. Michael Jordan was relevant for 19 years, at least. So I have to say no.
Okay, so you're saying it's not fair to compare her to Michael Jordan?
I don't think so.
Okay, question number 2. Do you think the reason why people compare, athletes to each other is because, like, I know for me, it's probably going to be a long question. It's more of a statement. Before I actually started playing golf, I didn't really have an appreciation for Tiger swing. But when I learned the mechanics of it and I learned how your body feels and how much rotation you have to have in your upper body, not only strength, but flexibility and rotation. And then I saw his swing, but it wasn't until after I actually started playing golf that I realized how incredible Tiger's swing is, how he does it so effortlessly. So I'm saying, do you think people compare athletes together because, like, even though I'm a dancer and I look at gymnasts and I say, wow, they're incredible, like how high she gets off the ground, even though the floor is bouncing, you still have to have power in your calves and your quads and your glutes to really get up that high. So I think, do you think people are comparing sports because people don't necessarily know about gymnastics? And when you look at someone like Michael Jordan, you could say, oh yeah, I get it. He's successful in basketball. And so they try to compare the two because people may not necessarily know about gymnastics.
No, I mean, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know why they're trying to compare them. Like, I would hate to go as far as saying because he's the most accredited, African-American athlete there is, pretty much. I'd hate to just to say that they're pointing her towards him because he's the best and now she's the best in a lot of stuff. I hope that it's not just that, cut and dry type situation, but there's many other gymnasts, there's many other female athletes, there's many other things that I think would make more of a direct correlation, unless there's something big that I'm missing. There could be something big that I'm missing. But for me, it's like, she doesn't need to be compared to Michael Jordan, who's a brand, who's been around for 20 plus years. She just needs to have her own platform because she's freaking amazing.
Yes, I agree with you. So I know when we talked about Simone Manuel, there are some other stories that have come out in reference to that, and African Americans not being allowed to be in pools, which is another sidebar. But Simone Biles, do you think this will encourage other young African American gymnasts to start competing?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's Gabby Reese. There's a few that have been setting the standard that, we're here.
Gabby Douglas. You said Gabby Reese, the volleyball player.
No, I meant, sorry, I didn't mean Gabby Reese. I meant, Gabby Douglas. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just watched volleyball the other day. No, you know what I mean? Like, she's great too. Like, I feel like more and more women, especially African-American women, are, being able to show how great they are on platforms like the Olympics. And I feel like that's such a positive thing.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting too, that I think even when we look at not just entertainment and sports, but there's such a age discrimination. And, when you look at, like, I think there was an Olympic hopeful and she was past the quote unquote prime. Do you remember that story?
Yeah.
So I think when you look at that, because gymnastics is something that you got to start when you're like 3 or 5. It's not like something like I could, like, you know what, by the way, I want to be in the 2020 Olympics. Let me start taking some gymnastics classes. It doesn't work like that. So I think not just African Americans, but I think people in general, we live in a society where people don't want to go through a process. Like, even when I look at, quote unquote celebrity, personal trainers or health and wellness coaches, Like sometimes if I get not necessarily a particular surgery, and I've seen it happen where women have gotten butt implants, and then all of a sudden you get 1 million people following you on social media, then all of a sudden you're like an overnight expert on how to make your butt look, firmer and tighter and bigger and whatever. And I'm like, that's weird. So I think, when we look at sports that take 4 years or take a long time from the beginning of like when you're 5, that's when you have to start working. And even Tiger, when we look at just great athletes, Venus and Serena, like they started when they were little. So
right.
I think we are a generation of people where we don't want to go through the process. We'd rather say, let me take the easy way out. Let me get it sucked out. So I think that's the thing. People might want to, and even when I do interviews and when I interview celebrities, for press junkets, I'm always curious about the process, because I think we want the glory, we want to stand on stage and we want the gold medals. But as far as being willing to do the work, it's something that we are not really built to do. This society isn't really built to do it because we're so used to feeling entitled and getting things instantly that if we think that we have to work for something, we're not going to do it.
No, I'm with you.
So that's my 2 cents. And again, this is just our opinions. I'm speaking for Madison Chase. I'm not speaking for all the Black women in America, as is Stef Z. She's not speaking for all women, white women in the world that happen to be from the East Coast that now live on the West Coast. She's not speaking. These are just our opinions, and we love to hear your opinions. That's why we ask you to weigh in with your yes or no. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there and put my cards on the table and say that this is what this platform is all about, is for us to, voice our opinions. And if you disagree, please respectfully disagree. And yeah, we'll keep this going. So I'm Madison Chase, and this is It's Yes or No. And you can find me on YouTube at One Mad Chase. And please make sure you like this video, subscribe, definitely leave a comment. Again, I'm One Mad Chase on YouTube. My fitness wellness website is Madison Chase Fitness. My media website is Madison Chase Media. You can find me on Twitter at Madison Chase Fit. On Instagram, Madison Chase Fitness as well. Pinterest, Periscope, Snapchat. If you Google Madison Chase Fitness, it should come up. Steph, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter. I am Stef Z. That's IAMSTEFZ. And also my YouTube channel is Stef Z TV. Keep the conversation going. We want to know what you guys think. Peace.
Bye, Steph. Peace and blessings.